Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz met and fell madly in love in 1940 while on the set of the film Too Many Girls. They married later that year on November 30th, and after 2 decades of marriage and a couple of popular I Love Lucy spin-off series, Ball and Arnaz got divorced in 1960. Recently, the story of their often turbulent relationship was presented in Amy Poehler's documentary, Lucy and Desi. The film explored who they were as everyday people, in addition to being celebrities during one of Hollywood's most iconic eras. Join Facts Verse as we take a look back on what went wrong with Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz's marriage. Desi and Lucille divorced after this happened. Ball first filed for divorce from Arnaz back in 1944 after 4 years of marriage. Years later, when she penned her 1989 memoir, Love, Lucy, Ball revealed she had filed for divorce at that time due to Arnaz's rampant infidelity and drinking problem. Apparently, his vices even had folks in Hollywood talking. During the summer of 1944, Desi simply stopped coming home. He would spend weeks at a time out partying. But the thing that hurt the most was when Lucille read an article published by Confidential magazine about her husband's weekly escapade in Palm Springs. Fortunately, they were able to reconcile their differences, but Ball filed for a second divorce in 1960, and that time she got her wish. In their divorce hearing, Ball compared Arnaz to Jekyll and Hyde. He would drink and gamble and was often seen hanging around other women. Lucille had hoped for so long that things would change, but they never did. Beyond just the booze and other women, Desi started having frequent temperamental outbursts around their children. This was something Lucille was simply unable and unwilling to excuse. In her memoir, she also recalled how Desi would throw tantrums in front of their friends and family. Things got so bad they weren't even able to have a normal social life for the last 3 or 4 years of their marriage. Ball later called this period a nightmare. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts Verse if you haven't already. And stick around for more of Lucille and Desi's failed marriage. Barbara Eden confirmed Arnaz's infidelity. In 1957, Barbara Eden of I Dream of Jeannie fame guest starred on an episode of I Love Lucy. In her 2012 memoir, Jeannie Out of the Bottle, she wrote about her time on the program. She confirmed that Arnaz was, as she put it, a world-class philanderer. She went on to explain that it was common knowledge in Tinseltown that Desi had a penchant for young, curvy blondes, and Lucille was deeply upset by her husband's cheating ways. Desi, on the other hand, saw things a bit differently. He claimed the divorce was the result of how much time he and Ball spent at home while they were working on I Love Lucy. At their divorce proceedings, Desi told the court he believed one of their biggest problems was how they were both working too hard and were together too much. He claimed there was never a chance for them to be away from each other to let things cool off. In his memoir, a book which was published in 1976, he recalled how he and Ball's marriage fell apart months prior to their divorce. He said the more their love life deteriorated, the more they would fight and the less sex they'd have. The more unhappy they became, the more he focused on work instead. And in his downtime, he would drink. In the end, he said he hadn't slept in his and Ball's master bedroom in over a year. Instead of working on mending their failing relationship, Arnaz admitted to seeking his needs elsewhere, but he insisted she did the same. Her temper got the best of her. In his memoir, Desi wrote about the day he told Lucille he wanted a divorce. That day, they had an argument in his office. When Ball was leaving the building, he rushed up to her and pulled her aside while she was stopping to have a drink at the water fountain. When he told her that he wanted a divorce, Arnaz said Ball looked at him like she wanted to kill him. He explained that their business pressures had succeeded in driving them apart and they needed to split up since their personal lives had become so miserable. Ball then left the building without saying a word, but when Desi came home that evening, she gave him a piece of her mind and then some. Reportedly, Lucille told Arnaz it would be better if he were to die. She said it would be a far better solution both to their children and everyone else. She then apparently told him she had enough dirt on him to hang him and that by the time she was through with him, he'd be broke as a joke. Arnaz made his way to his dressing room to give Ball time to cool down, but she followed him. Desi said he was about to light a cigarette when the fiery redhead came at him with a dueling pistol. She pointed it at him and pulled the trigger. Fortunately, it was only loaded with blanks, but Desi still took the opportunity to use its flame to light his smoke. He then told her he knew she didn't mean everything she had just said, but asked her, for the sake of their children, to let their split be as amicable as possible. For appearance's sake, Arnaz told Ball he wanted her to be the one to initiate the court proceedings. He then told her they would get a decent lawyer for her and she would be the one to sue for divorce. After promising her they would arrive at a fair financial settlement, he asked her nicely not to threaten him again. Arnaz and Ball never slept under the same roof again after that night. They filed for divorce, and it was finalized in 1960. Until Arnaz's death in 1986, Desi and Lucille remained friends and often spoke quite fondly of each other. Arnaz reportedly even continued to send his ex-wife flowers. He married his second wife, Edith Hirsch, in 1963 and greatly reduced his involvement in showbiz. Edith died in 1985 of cancer. After her death, Desi was convinced by his children to seek medical treatment for his decade-spanning addiction to alcohol, which had started taking a severe toll on his health. After Arnaz was diagnosed with lung cancer in 1986, Lucille came to visit him, and the two watched VHS recordings of old I Love Lucy episodes. On what would have been their 46th anniversary, she called and told him she loved him. Desi died 2 days later. Ball, too, remarried after their divorce. She got married to her second husband, Borscht Belt comedian Gary Morton, in 1961 and remained by his side until her death. Ball got Morton a job with her production company, where she promoted him to producer after teaching him the ropes of the TV business. Ball was admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in L.A. on April 18, 1989, after experiencing chest pains. She received a diagnosis of having a dissecting aortic aneurysm and underwent surgery to repair her aorta. While the procedure seemed to be a success, Ball woke up in the middle of the night with severe back pain on April 26th. Later that morning, she passed away at age 77. Now it's time to hear from you. What are your favorite memories of Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts Verse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.